on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
I'm Larry O'Connor with Mercedes Schlapp. And Mercedes, I don't know about you, but when I look at the District of Columbia and I look at the parking nightmare, I look at the traffic nightmare, and the lack of lanes now for cars to be able to maneuver and just handle their daily commute, I think to myself, you know what we need? We need more bike lanes, especially on Connecticut Avenue.
Between bike lanes and bus lanes, I mean, you should just walk to work at this point.
Gary Stevens is the spokesperson for Save Connecticut Avenue. And, well, Gary, they're back at it again. They want more bike lanes on Connecticut.
Yes, they are indeed. And I have to tell you that we at SaveConnecticutAvenue.org opposed the bike lane project on Connecticut Avenue, are astounded and deeply dismayed that the D.C. Council Committee on Transportation would recommend a law forbidding the spending of any funds on Connecticut Avenue or indeed any street in the district on safety projects unless bike lanes are included. It's simply outrageous hardball, endangering everyone.
Is this, again, another attempt to embrace this Vision Zero nonsense that it started in Scandinavia, and these municipalities adopt Vision Zero, which is this, designed to not have any pedestrian fatalities in any sort of municipal setting, and the only solution is just basically slowly but surely get rid of cars.
Well, that may be. The safety elements of Vision Zero, that is the safety for everyone, pedestrians, children, the disabled, the elderly, and the rest of us who may not be riding bicycles, that's an important thing to keep in mind. But as to what the council committee is now recommending, let's just be clear. This means that Council Member Alan Fruman and any others on the council member of any other council members supporting this particular recommendation are against more traffic lights, more speed cameras, more protected pedestrian crossings. They're just against safety, unless they don't get their pet bike lane project through.
Why are they? Yeah, go ahead, Mercy.
Oh, sorry. So there's the 2.7-mile lane. It would run from Chevy Chase to Woodley Park. And it would also eliminate 300 parking spaces. I mean, up to what point do we know that, what are the people of that area saying that live around that area?
Well, we've spent several months investigating that and trying to inform the public, which most of the people we have talked to have never heard of this project. Yeah. The word did not get out, and they were not involved in the planning. We have over 5,000 residents who've signed our petition opposing the bike lanes. Over 125 businesses on Connecticut Avenue have opposed it for the tremendous impact, which you've mentioned, on parking. Many of these small businesses believe they're going to have to close if this thing happens.
Yeah. And again, I want to remind everybody, this reduces the number of vehicle lanes, travel lanes, from 6 to 4. And last I checked, traffic up and down during rush hour on Connecticut Avenue can't accommodate the volume as it is with 6 lanes. Yeah. It would be an absolute nightmare. And for the small businesses in that area, if you can't park, then you can't stop to go to your favorite restaurant or your favorite shop or your favorite, coffee barista.
That's exactly right. The Department of Transportation estimates there are less than 100 bikers that currently use Connecticut Avenue, and I was astounded at this. More than 31,000 cars, trucks, and buses use it every day. They use it because they need to use it. They have to use it, and it keeps our community vital and protects our small businesses. That's just a fact of life we need to live with. Not every street in the district is appropriate for bike lanes.
Listen, last time we had you on, I think it was in 21, maybe 22, and effectively, I think the attention drawn to this killed the idea. They scrapped it, but now they're trying to get it back. What's the time frame here, and what can we do to rally support for the cause to save Connecticut Avenue?
Well, I can't be sure of the exact time frame, but now is the time to act. People who believe that bike lanes are not appropriate for Connecticut Avenue, and by the way, that would include the D.C. Police Union. They're concerned about the response times. And people who support the Department of Transportation and the mayor, who've listened to our presentation and have agreed that the facts show that bike lanes are not appropriate, can contact saveconnecticutavenue.org. That's saveconnecticutavenue.org. That's our website. They'll find out there various ways that they can help oppose these terrible bike lanes and other ways that they can make Connecticut Avenue safer and better for those who live along it.
What's the time frame here? So D.C. Council member Charles Allen, he's the chair of the Committee on Transportation and the Environment. He supports the bike lane.
He's also facing a recall effort, just to put it in context.
Yes, he is. But he says that the community's desire for the lane was, quote unquote, a settled debate, and then they're making this argument that these bike lanes would reduce traffic congestion, citing a New York study. I mean, what is the timeline on this? How quickly would they move on something like this?
The recommendation will go from the Transportation Committee to the Council as a whole. The Council as a whole will then have to vote on it as to whether it becomes law, and then after that, the mayor will review it and decide whether to veto it or not.
We're speaking with Gary Stevens. He's the spokesperson for Save Connecticut Avenue, and that's saveconnecticutav.org, saveconnecticutav.org. Here's something I don't understand, just procedurally, and maybe you can help me out with this, or since you're not an elected official in a august institution like the district council, maybe it doesn't make sense to you either. But how can the Transportation Committee move forward this motion that will cancel every other road improvement project, capital road projects that have already been voted on, that are already in place? This committee can just unilaterally cancel them if they don't include bike lanes, even if they've already gone through the process and been approved?
The short answer is they can't unilaterally cancel them, but they can recommend to the council as a whole that this be adopted. And you're exactly right. It's absolutely outrageous, and it completely undercuts the position taken by the Department of Transportation and the mayor based upon the facts that they've found.
Right.
It makes no sense at all.
I mean, we're talking about projects that have already gone through the process of public comment, of, public hearings and votes. Anyone who wanted to say anything about bike lanes at that time could have done so. That gets voted on, it gets approved, it's going through the process, and now they come back retroactively and say everything's canceled unless it's got this arbitrary bike lane inclusion.
That's right. They want their pet bike project no matter what, and no matter at whose expense. And it's really a terrible thing.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's a threat out there, and the way to make sure that we oppose it is first to speak to all other members of the council to make sure we get a good council vote on that, and then encourage the mayor and the Department of Transportation to continue to do what they're doing.
Well, and we certainly raised awareness here in the last 10 minutes. Gary Stevens, Safe Connecticut Avenue, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you. My privilege.
SaveConnecticutAv.org, SaveConnecticutAv.org. I just want to reiterate. I go to restaurants on Connecticut Avenue over near the zoo and up in Cleveland Park area. Parking is already hard. Traffic is already hard. You take away 2 traffic lanes and take away 300 parking spaces. I have favorite restaurants in Cleveland Park that I will just not go to anymore because of this. This will be devastating to the business owners there at a time when D.C. really can't afford that kind of thing. There's very few places still surviving right now.